Well, we are here at the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference, and I'm here with another Agilist.
Hey,
So go ahead and introduce yourself to the group and kind of a little bit of background.
for sure. My name's Travis Arnold. I guess the way back story with Agile Marketing starts in 2009, 2010. Worked with a software company on the marketing side, and our dev team had moved to Agile and Scrum, and it just made so much sense. It was like the exact same thing, but on the marketing side. It's like we're doing the same thing. We're always shipping a product. Everything changes. We kind of share the same buyer. So it made a ton of sense for us to kind of adopt it. We had a small team, small budget. As you can imagine, 2009, like coming out of 2008 and everything was rough. So we had to make a little bit stretch a long way and with like limited resources. So how did we do that? And that was, for us, it just ended up being Agile Marketing and like our spin on it and our take on it. So that's how it started. I think my first post about Agile Marketing was 2010. So kind of been involved kind of since then. So I love it. I mean, it's cool. It's really awesome to see the community start, blowing up. And
Yeah, and I think that it does fit on all sides of teams because the
For sure.
larger the company you're in,
Yeah.
the more finite you need to be on your
Yeah.
audience, right? The more opportunity you have
Yep.
to pinpoint a particular group of people, build a backlog on top of that, ask them questions, prioritize their output,
Yep.
find what they truly find valuable. And I think a lot of marketers still miss that is what do they find valuable and how are you going to demonstrate it, right?
Yeah.
And this all fits into that agile model of the customer satisfaction is my number one goal.
Yep.
I don't think software developers necessarily believe that, right?
Yeah.
It's my satisfaction is number one goal, and I think that's been a part of the problem with the retrospective and the way Agile's kind of moved. That is taking a pivot in software space to be almost purely about the developer and about their needs and not the business, right? And
Yeah.
not the focus of the customer.
Yeah, I think the customer kind of, as much as we like to say it's customer first and we're really customer oriented, sometimes they just get swept under the rug. And our biases as marketers and developers kind of take over. And that's the wrong way to go about it.
Just in the fact that in design we call it mobile first.
Yeah,
It's customer first. Is the customer using their phone?
right.
No. Okay, then it's not mobile first,
sure.
right? Yet, or it could be at some point, but it's whatever the customer's doing first.
And to leech onto that, you look at like a B2B, software companies mobile visits and it's like 10 to 12%. And then you see stats and like this conference, it's 80, 90%. It's like, yes, that's where they might be offline, but as a business consumer and a user, they're not really visiting the site. They're not going to, they're not actually searching for that business need on their phone. I mean, analytics tells you right there, black and white, what your traffic is. So, going mobile first, just out of the gate. Well, I'm a huge believer like you need to have a responsive website in 2017.
Yeah.
Not saying that, but spending a bunch of time and putting all your eggs in that basket might not be the smartest thing depending on your industry.
Yeah,
So,
but I think there is this need for cross-pollination of software engineering,
Oh, for sure.
business, and marketing kind of brought together under this.
Yeah.
Who's our persona? What are they doing? And then how can we as teams now say we're agile
Yeah.
and now structure our agile implementations to be more open and honest, but then also committing to firm deadlines. And it's always been like there's waterfall and then there's agile. Well,
Yeah.
there's never agile. There's a stair, right?
Yeah.
And we have to start stair stepping more and doing these incremental deliveries to each other.
For sure. And it's shipping something. Like what's at the end of the day, what are we going to actually ship and get out the door? And I think sometimes, like a website project, for example, those things, as everybody who's probably listening to this has gone through the pain and the heartache of a website project, like they kind of can drag on forever and ever. So just having like, here are the little milestones we want to hit. And like, this is a shipped thing and we move on. Now to go to like the pure agile way, like during that process, something could change dramatically where that scope changes within a sprint. So like, we're going to react to what the consumer needs and what our customer needs. And we're going to change it. And that's fine. It's not a bad thing. You don't have to ship it for the sake of shipping it.
Yeah.
It's okay to throw things away that don't work anymore.
Yeah.
So it's
But it's weird because, like, for me, like when I train on agile marketing, the number one thing I get from people is, well, I don't have the ability to work on one thing at a time. And I'm saying, you may not have that ability by your business,
Yeah.
but you have that responsibility
Yeah.
to the business and the user to make sure you are doing it.
For sure.
And I think that it's like failing a sprint has a price tag associated with that. And when somebody wants to fail a sprint for a customer need,
Yeah.
then that's completely different
Yeah.
than a business need.
Yeah.
And so there's this happy balance.
For sure.
But we as creators, we as people who are producing inside an agile framework need to have a voice to be able to say, here's what reality is. Right?
Yeah. And then, as your wife, Michelle, she's a scrum master right here. So she would probably that's kind of her job too. Sometimes to hey, we have to change course here because it's not necessarily fitting our customers' needs. This is more of a, marketing wanted this or development wanted this. It's not what our customer needed. And they're changing, their buying habits changed from ABC to XYZ. So we have to adjust, and it's better to adjust now than let's finish this thing and then we'll adjust. Why not adjust now? Adopting that mindset's really tough for people because everybody's really attuned to the waterfall method. Here's our big plan that we did in November, and we're gonna execute that throughout the year. It's okay to throw that plan in the garbage and move on to something
or that
better.
Big campaign you wanted to start.
Yeah,
it could end up being a small campaign.
Yep.
But it was fine. You took it agile, you took an approach, and maybe you said, we need to do something else, pivot.
For sure.
We were shipping and delivering the whole time. We weren't worried about waiting all for this big moment and then pushing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Then we hit the big red button and then things go out the door. Yeah.
That's not the way the world works anymore.
No, not at all.
But I still drive back to marketers really need to consider if we are truly if your business is being hit on budget, if you feel that there's a tightening of budget or resources or everything like that, and you hear the words ROI from your boss, right?
Yeah.
That we have to show ROI as a marketing department. We have to be a revenue generating part of the organization.
Yep.
Everyone does.
Yep.
There's no more ability to be a luxury of we're a requirement to do business. No, we have to generate revenue.
Today, real time is the only time that counts. To stay relevant, you have to stay ahead. Your customers want the right information, right now, wherever they are. So how do you meet the demands of today's customers? By marketing in context. Context accounts for a customer's interaction with your brand. So each touch builds on the next, creating more meaningful experiences for your customers. At Sitecore, we call this context marketing. To do it well, you need marketing technology that has three things: contextual intelligence, content management, and omni-channel automation. Contextual intelligence gives you the information you need about your consumers, so the content you manage is more relevant and is automatically delivered wherever your customers are. The Sitecore Experience platform was built for context marketing, so you can create a more personalized customer experience. Demand more from your marketing technology. Demand more from marketing. Own the experience. Sitecore.
Marketing gets looked at as a cost center, and still today, even though we're in 2017, everything's very digital, everything's very trackable and attributable. We still get looked at as a cost center, and that's the wrong way to think about it. Let's figure out how the things we do. Let's get a metric for it. Let's get a actual dollar value that we're getting out of what we're putting in, and that's you set those little micro goals throughout every little piece of the puzzle.
Exactly, but it goes to that number, right? So you're a cost center because no one knows how much you cost.
Yeah, right.
No one knows anything about it.
For sure.
We know you are a person that's employed and you create stuff.
You do
and
things.
So with Agile, you can say, look, I now know what the investment was.
Right.
And it's not always to the agency, because I think so many marketing teams rely on the agency to be the creative. But let's say your internal marketing team is a creative. How much did that piece actually cost in investment? You can calculate it.
Yeah.
You can calculate your understanding of it and what the rest of them are going to look like. And then you can get forecasts to it. And then now you attach those revenue numbers that we're getting all the attribution to, and you can show black, right?
Yeah.
You can show the positive pieces, and it's not always assumed that you're a cost center. It's not always assumed you're in the red.
Yeah. X equaled Z. And then, sometimes you have duds. And it's okay to like, here were our duds. We're not going to do that again. We're going to do this. The thing that worked, we're going to do that. And we're going to do more of it until it doesn't work. And then we do the next thing. It's like this constant mentality of testing is like, you got to like adopt that too. I think it's definitely important for,
but it's all in our control to make it happen. I think marketing teams need to stop being the woe is me, I can't do anything about it, and really own the process, right? And push for things like agile marketing and be change leaders in the organization.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like top down. It could be like inside out. Like here's what I found. Your lead designer in your marketing side could say, well, here's what I found based on some user testing. This is how they're reacting to what we're doing. Let that be known. Like, don't be shy. Like, speak up, and that like can very much change the course of a sprint, or at least put it on the backlog, something to explore further. And
I always like the analogy of in the Matrix, Neo ran inside Agent Smith, and then it kind of comes and blows up, right? Agile takes off that way to where small, little organic internal side projects, 2 people and a scrum board, right? 6-pack of beer, scrum board, and a couple people, and then they make it happen in one little silo. Maybe an event like this. Maybe, just a blog effort or that content migration effort with your new website. You do it agile, you prove it works, you show everyone who wants to see how it works. You turn into a pet store, right? Come tap on the window and see how it works.
Absolutely.
And then you start to change that environment organic. And then always leverage those IT teams that you have. They have scrum masters that are bored to death of talking about IT and would love to talk about something else. And you could say, hey, we're adopting it for this. Can you come help us?
For sure. And that actually, one of our guys on the dev team back in the day, I was like, hey, I know I'm this marketing guy. I'm the big pain in the ass for you guys sometimes. I'd love to set in a couple of your scrums and your sprint planning meetings, just kind of see what you guys talk about. And he loved it. He thought it was the best. And like, we got a ton out of it on the marketing side. I think they got a ton out of it because we were talking about like, here's what our customer needs are, like that you guys might be removed from on the dev side. So I mean, just integration and like blowing down the silos is really, I think, what it's all about at the end of the day. In my current position, co-founder of a software company, we're a very small team. We have like 4 people that work in one room. So are we like an agile business? Yeah, sure. I mean, we've got our scrum board where we've got post-it notes all over the place. We move things around, put it at our desk. And, at the end of the day, like those little things, like just having that little piece of paper, it's physical, it's a tangible thing. You can put it in front of you and like, that's what you're working on. And you check it off your list. It still fits the need of the customer. And then you move on to the next thing. And like those things, like just kind of getting in that habit of stand-ups and, having a board where everything's very in your face and visible at all times. It does, like, it totally changes how you operate, especially in a marketing org. Like it's, sometimes you get in your cubicle world and you never see outside of it.
Yeah.
That's crappy.
All of that. I mean, all Agile does is solve the problem of working, getting work done, letting other people see it, and getting information back. And I think it's like if you imagine a hospital, like on Grey's Anatomy or ER, they always have that big board, right? Here's what the hell I'm doing today, right? They erase it and they put it in there. Right. The reason they do that, the reason they have charts and the reason they have all this stuff and people moving stuff around is to make the whole thing flow. Yeah. To make it be organic, to not be the assembly line where if this doctor is out of town, no patients get served, right? Right. We have a model that says, hey, this is always going to be living. Yeah. And if that's the way you think of your team as always living, then you're not going to sit there and say, we got one video guy and he's going to be the only video guy and I could never become a video person. You're going to say, our bus factor is 1. Yeah. He steps out in front of one of these food trucks, right? He's gone. Yeah. And now we got no video. Who's going to learn video? Yeah. Right? Who's going to learn how to be his backup? Yeah. Like sharing knowledge, sharing like what like that's part of it too. I mean, could you imagine as a software company, if you asked somebody, hey, I want you to build this new feature, and they said, well, that takes databases, and I don't do databases, and that takes SQL, and I don't do SQL, or that's business logic stuff. I'm a front end guy, right? You'd be like, no, you're a developer. Right. You create from here to here. Yeah. But 20 years ago, that's what you heard. How it happened. Yeah. Right? You had like
I get it to this point, and then I'm out of it. I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm taking vacation, and I'm not going to be here for any questions. I'm not going to learn anything you do.
But that's not the Agile team. The
No.
Agile team says, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And you have I think it helps create these omni marketers that okay, I know PPC, I know SEO, I know content marketing, I know websites. I know how to do the things that I need to do. I might not be a specialist at it, but I know enough to get it done. And then we can at least hand it off to the specialist at a much more done point than it would be if they took it, have really no sense of anything or what's going on as far as the business need or the customer need goes. So
yeah, and it's always if you are a generalist, then how deep can you get in those generalities? And I think it's more how can you be the Renaissance marketer,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And not just I mean, your title is marketer. It means that you know how to market things. It means you are out. It has nothing. It doesn't say you're a writer. It doesn't say you're a videographer. It doesn't say anything about you besides you know how to market.
Yeah.
So just in the generality of your title should tell you got to know a lot of stuff.
Especially now. I mean, everybody's seen Scott Brinker's mega, marketing technology board. The thing's insane. It's grown 1,100% in 3 years or something like that. That's a lot of stuff for any person just to hang on to. Now you have marketers that not only do you need to know these functional areas, PPC, SEO, websites, all this stuff. You also need to know the technology that powers it, that helps that be more efficient. So it's a double, you've got to learn it all, but that's your job. You're a marketer. That's what you have to do. That's that's the status quo now. It's going to soon be the status quo. So
I think as sales is disrupted, and the ability to access customers outside of when they want to be accessed.
For sure.
And it keeps dwindling more and more and more every year.
Yeah.
It's the responsibility of the marketer to be the open door. And I always say, if you're not comfortable wearing the Statue of Liberty costume and standing out there at tax season getting people to come in, then you are not in the right field as a marketer because you got to be willing to step way out of your comfort zone where sales can't because the customer won't appreciate it anymore.
Yeah.
And they won't welcome a cold call. They won't welcome the email, the automation, and all this stuff.
I mean, marketing is the pre-sales now. Especially you look at marketing automation, that whole process, content marketing, that's basically to get someone to the point of, hey, I'm ready to contact sales, or I've given the signals that sales needs to contact me. And all those things it takes it out of the salesperson's hands a little bit more, and it puts it, like you're saying, right into a marketer's hands. It's your job and your responsibility, basically, to make sure you're handing off the right people to the sales folks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was a great talk, and
absolutely,
I can't wait to just continuing to build up this relationship. Now there's another Agile marketer in the area, right? We can do so many things.
Wax poetic all day on Agile marketing, man. It's great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time.
Awesome. Thanks.